What's going on there, guys? Good afternoon, good morning to some out there. It's the Earthmaster here on this Wednesday, August 17th, 2022, about 11:20 a.m. here in California, and the latest quake shows a 1.8 earthquake on the globe up here. Looks like in California, right there on the green flag, kind of covered up underneath quite a bit of activity ramping up this morning into portions of Canada and down off the coast of the Baja California region. California getting squeezed in between as well. We'll check out the earthquake activity in just a little bit. I want to cover the solar weather activity that's kind of ramping up tonight for the potential of auroras being seen down to some of the mid states up here. I'm talking about Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Wyoming, Nebraska, even portions of possibly into northern Kansas there, and of course all the other northern tier states will be have a good shot, pending it's clear above your head, of seeing the aurora tonight. G3 class storm is predicted and forecasted from the NOAA website. This is coming from a couple different CMEs, kind of doing a nice little train of CME impacts here on Earth. And again, that should amplify the geomagnetic conditions here to a strong G3 solar storm. So here are these guys mentioning some of these cities. Auroras could be visible overhead in cities like Vancouver, Helena, Montana, I'm assuming right there, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Bay City, Toronto. Auroras could be visible on the horizon in cities like Salem, Boise, Cheyenne, Lincoln, Indianapolis. All these cities right here are basically within this green line here. So if you're pretty much from about this green line inward towards the actual overhead auroras, you have a chance of seeing those pop up tonight. Now, maybe not as sufficient as these folks within this range right here, but if you're basically within this line here, about Central Oregon, Bend northward, if you look out on the horizon towards the north, you got a good chance of seeing the Aurora Borealis tonight. Pretty lucky. Unfortunately, down here in California, it would take a much stronger solar storm for us to see it down here. But it's happened. It's definitely happened, not recently, that's for sure, but in the past. So it's just a matter of time before we get those conditions and the right bullseye shot to see auroras down here in California again. That would be awesome. It's on my bucket list. So yeah, check it out, folks. This map right here just kind of gives you a general idea of where you can see it. Again, if you're within this line inland towards the auroras, it looks like Ohio, Pennsylvania, Iowa, all these states up here got a good chance of seeing it. So current conditions do show some elevated activity kicking up right now on the live data. It looks like we have got at least a little brunt of a CME right now kicking up. Notice the speed ramping up towards the 500 and above km range. Also some elevated density on the protons there kicking up. So this is just kind of a first glancing blow. We are expecting the G1 storm conditions here today. Looks like that is being picked up pretty nicely there on the Aurora forecast. Down south in the southern hemisphere, Antarctica getting in on some auroras, pending they have clear skies. And up here in the northern hemisphere, looks like portions of at least pending they're in the dark up here, are able to see it as well. Our time frame, far as when the G3 class storm is expected to kick in, is around the 0 to 6 UTC time. Okay, that's on the August 18th, which is technically going to be tonight. Today, actually. Right now, it is August 17th, UTC time, about 18:23. So here in about 6 hours or so, we should start to see things really elevate within this time frame here, 0 to 6 on the UTC time, August 18th. So that's tonight. Tonight is the night for the G3 class storm. And afterwards, it looks like things going to mellow out a little bit. Actually, we're going to probably stay pretty active for at least the next day or so, it looks like. But the brunt of the activity, that double whammy, so to speak, of a couple different CMEs heading our direction all at the same time, is tonight. So watch for that, folks, if you're outdoors in those areas that I kind of pointed out here on the map. Pretty cool, I think, anyway, to be able to see something like that in the sky. Okay, let's see what else we got here. As far as solar flare activity goes, we're definitely crackling and popping with quite a few C flares and some M flares overnight as well. Had a couple low-grade M flares reach up here earlier this morning, and as you can see here on the map, definitely cracking with some upper C flares listed here on the 1 day, 1 minute data. So things are getting pretty active on the sun currently in terms of solar weather and sunspots. Looking at a 99% chance of a C flare, which makes sense because we are already in the C flare category. M flare stands at about 30% chance, 10% chance for an X flare, and I do think that's a good possibility. Looking at 3081s growing pretty drastically, although that's not the main one right here that I'm kind of watching. That's 3078 down here, and 3083, newly named sunspot 3083. But 3078 has the most potential with all the different colors and mixing here. That's a good sign of a pretty complex magnetic field. 3078 is currently a beta gamma delta magnetic class, which in turn could pop off an X flare. It does have a 5% chance, it looks like currently. It has produced a M2.7 and an M5.0. That is the one to watch currently right now. But then again, like I say, these sunspots are growing pretty rapidly, and we'll keep an eye on them as we advance throughout the days here. All right, what else do we have? Earth Sky is a pretty cool site to check out. I will provide this link here into the update video below in the description. That way you guys can kind of look at this Aurora forecast as well and kind of make your decision on if you'll be able to see it out here tonight. I think it'd be pretty cool. So once again, the large green region shows the extent of the aurora overhead, like when you're looking up. Lucky guys up there, those people are lucky. And then the single green line right here indicate the limit of auroras visible on the horizon. Basically looking off on the horizon, you got to have a clear view to the north and to be able to see that. All right, I'm going to cover a little thing that USGS Volcanoes put out here yesterday on their Facebook page. I know we talk a lot about seeing some unusual readings on seismograph stations, for example, like Yellowstone, or any seismograph station that picks up weird looking pulses or unusual activity. That doesn't look like it's earthquake or volcanic activity. And a lot of times I tend to point towards the let's bring up Yellowstone, see if they got any thunderstorms up there right now. I don't see any popping up, but a lot of times we'll see some elevated odd activity. I'm going to go back here a couple days and show you guys what I was referring to. It's kind of just a period of some wind, thunderstorms, heavy rain, stuff like this. This is what I'm talking about right here. This is not magma movement. This is not harmonic tremor. This is basically a wind event or thunderstorms that were rolling through the area. I remember checking this out that night, and definitely looked like good thunderstorms popping up in that area. And so, you know, I kind of put to rest the fear mongering that people say, oh, that's volcanic, it's harmonic tremor. Look at it, look at it. Okay, put the coffee down, read up on what these folks are saying. So you got to distinguish earthquakes from outside noise, right? Environmental noises is what these folks here at the USGS Volcanoes are stating. They're not hiding anything right here in terms of the noises that are being picked up. Environmental noises on a seismograph can be anything from planes, trains, and automobiles to footsteps, wind, or even the occasional bear visit. So imagine a line of thunderstorms just cranking through there with this monsoonal moisture that they've had up there recently. then you'll know that a lot of those readings are definitely environmental noise, not magma movement, not earthquakes at all. It shows here in this spectrogram from seismic stations near Mammoth Mountain, a regular pulsing signal with clear harmonics has been showing up starting around 6 a.m. local time and lasting until early afternoon. We think we know what we're looking at, but we want to hear your best guesses. Hint, Station MDY is located about 1.5 miles northeast of Mammoth Mountain summit. So there's been a couple guesses. These could be ski lifts, right? In operation or testing them, making sure they're working. In fact, quite a few folks here did report mentioning that, and that's going to be the signature that you guys are kind of seeing right here. But anything like a generator, tractors, ski lifts, thunderstorms can provide that type of reading. These are not earthquakes, it's not harmonic tremor, that's not what it looks like. And it's just kind of, and this is at Yellowstone. I haven't really looked at the Mammoth Lakes area, but they mentioned it there on their Facebook page, this little pulsating thing that lasts for about 6 hours or so each day. So yeah, I'm kind of just throwing that out there to let you guys know that not everything we see on the Yellowstone seismographs or any seismograph station for that matter is volcanic or earthquake related. A lot of environmental noises out there, and that's just that's a fact. That's 100% a fact. All right, let's get back into the earthquake activity. I just, like I said, I like to throw it out there because I don't want people to be confused, and I don't like the fear mongers that try and confuse the people out there. All right, earthquake activity. What do we got? The start over here along the west coast. We're somewhat active overnight. Well, this was actually late last night, the 4.4 striking into the Gorda Ridges. Since then, we've had a little bit of further activity. They're reporting a 2.8 down here along the Blanco fracture zone. And looks like some other activity into the Walker, California region. This is a 2.5 map and above. Of course, yesterday we had that 3-pointer down south as well. Looks like they downgraded it from 3.3 to 3.2. It's kind of felt over the area a little bit. This earthquake struck just off the San Andreas Fault here near the Banning region. USGS not showing up here in Canada, though. I'm not for sure why they don't report the activity. Because it's pretty important. It gives you an idea of what's going on out here along the west coast. Let me bring up the EMSC model real quick here, folks, while I get this going, which is going to be this model right here. And even these guys really not showing anything. I may have to check out the Earthquakes Canada map and see what's going on here. But there is some activity. I've been getting some alerts on my phone of some movement around this area. Some earthquake activity. Stand by for a second while I pull up Earthquakes Canada, see what we got for their activity. There it is. So these guys definitely reporting it. USGS, EMSC not either. I'm sure the EMSC possibly if we were to zoom in, but a little activity. Looks like in the Alberta region, 3 or so, and a couple other smaller earthquakes today. I know we had some movement way up in the Yukon region as well. 3.8 coming in earlier this morning time frame, and a little activity over here well to the east. See that red circle right there? Another 3.1 earthquake in this area. Looks like that is right around the Maine region. Is that even on the USGS map? Let me see here. There it is. It is up there, 3.0. That earthquake kicking up overnight around Centerville, Maine. So activity throughout the northern part here, Canada, and the area around the Pacific Plate boundary and the North American Plate boundary have been pretty active overnight. See if anybody reported feeling this earthquake. I'm sure a 3-pointer definitely be felt out there. A few folks report some light shaking, it looks like, in the Maine region, Centerville, Maine. Definitely have been seeing a little bit of activity over here throughout the last week or so. No major swarms, but definitely a couple scattered earthquakes throughout the northeastern portion of the states into Canada. So just a little bit of activity out there, right? Definitely kicking up, it seems like. All right, working our way further west here. Some movement outside of Oklahoma into the Texas area. No major activity, though. No major swarms to report in Texas today. Getting in a little bit of earthquake activity within the last hour here at the southern end of the San Andreas Fault, the Brawley seismic zone. Little extensional fault down here. Runs across the Salton Sea area. 1.2. This could turn into a swarm. We'll keep an eye on it. Sometimes these swarms come out of the blue like that. Also outside of Mexicali region, the 2.1 at 10 kilometers. A little cluster of quakes right around the San Andreas Fault here today and overnight. There's that 3.2 and some activity further north here on the North American side of the plate boundary. A couple small microquakes within that region. Ridgecrest and the area across the Wheeler Ridge area looking a little bit spotty today. Not a whole lot of movement, just some small microquakes. And up here around this area of the Antelope Valley, that's not going to be down south. That's going to be over here around the Nevada state line. A lot less density of people. The Colville area of the Antelope Valley, not down south. Seeing a little bit of movement today. Also, the hydrothermal operations here around the Clear Lake volcanic fields showing about 29 earthquakes. They all look to be below the 2.5 threshold, and I'm sure Calpine's happy about that. Let's see what else we got into Washington and whatnot. A couple small earthquakes, including one around the Mount Hood area, a negative one. 1.5 explosion over here, kicking off. Are they trying to kick off a little fault system over there? Hopefully not. What do we got here for the Alaska area? Notice the somewhat larger quakes up here, getting in on some movement. A couple, I believe some of these were from yesterday. A couple of those threes. Kicking up overnight. This one here, a 5.0. That was from yesterday, but still seeing a little bit of activity working its way along the subduction zone here, the Aleutian Trench, over the last 24 hours into the Big Island of Hawaii. Most, if not all, the activity confined here to the Pahala region, southeast portion of the Big Island. Very typical. No major adjustments or movement to report across the board in Hawaii at any of the volcanoes. Over here around Japan, some older activity. Actually, it looks like maybe one of these, 4.8, along the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench from earlier this morning. This area is still kind of primed for a bigger quake. It just hasn't happened yet. Just a matter of time. And some activity from this morning as well, it looks like, and a lot of activity from yesterday around the Indonesia area. Some of those 4s and 5s were down here along the Fiji Islands region and Tonga. Not a whole lot happening today. So kind of on that board, that teeter-totter board here, where we're working at the West Coast and the Alaska region right now. Haven't seen any broader push of activity down south or through the west here. Again, this is from yesterday, so things kind of working its way back here for activity along this area of the plates, the Pacific Plate. We'll definitely keep an eye on that. South America, not a whole lot or the Atlantic, I should say, not a whole lot going on right now. Nothing showing up along the South Sandwich Trench, the South America area. A couple small earthquakes. Again, I believe these were from yesterday. Yep. One up north here overnight at 4.6. So overall, looking at the big picture, new activity, the Alaska, West Coast region, and Hawaii. So watch these areas closely, and we'll see what becomes of that, along with the G3 incoming storm here. You know, I do think space weather plays a little important role on the weather that we see here on the planet, and also the plate dynamics here. Got to think about that. You know, Earth's magnetic field and the pressure involved with the plates and whatnot below. I think they play a major role. So we'll see what happens once that G3 storm kicks in, if we see a major uptick or any big earthquakes for that matter. Yellowstone National Park, not a whole lot going on far as legit seismic activity. A couple outside interference patterns going on, but no major seismic unrest at all to report. No microquakes at all either. Maybe a very small one if you want to look down to that level, but those are super duper small and not a whole lot of threat whatsoever in terms of earthquake movement. All right, let's see here. I want to jump into... Where did that go? I'm trying to see if I can find it here real quick. I was going to show you guys the... we got some storms coming in here tonight. Stand by. Storm Prediction Center. I could have swore I had it set up here. Let's see. Here we go. Bring this bad boy up here. Convective outlooks. And yeah, there's some monsoonal moisture working its way up into California today. Unfortunately, man, this is not good. We got a couple red flag warnings here across the region of the mountains where we're still seeing some fires and a lot of dry conditions. The red flag warning in effect for gusty winds and dry lightning here in Northern California. So that's all we need is some more fires. It is that time of year where we do get some of this monsoonal moisture up, but by the time it gets to California, at least Northern California, the amount of rainfall, the moisture in the air is limited. So we do get these thunderstorms building up with a lot of frequent lightning and gusty winds, but no rainfall. Very dry thunderstorms, and that is the worst type of conditions you can have for the for these fires to start. It is not good. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely keeping my eyes open today for any new fire starts. Thunderstorm activity right there in the brownish color, 10% chance, but again, anything that does pop off is going to be lightning, and that's about it, and some gusty winds. Right now, the fires here in California, they're getting a little handle on the on some of them, but I think we're going to see this map lit up a little bit more tomorrow, unfortunately, after these after this little lightning event. The big fires right now, the lightning complex fires, these were started here a week or so ago, are burning out there in some major dense forested areas, but they're dry. There's a lot of dry underbrush throughout the region, and last time I checked, the containment was 0. And it still sits at 0, and it's been burning for what, since August 5th? That's horrible. Absolutely horrible. That shows no containment whatsoever on these fires, and that's not good. There's not going to be much left of California, let me tell you. But expect this to be a little bit more filled in tomorrow. Unfortunately, with the new potential for fires today from the thunderstorms. Oh goodness! All right, I knew it was going to happen, but it is what it is, right? I can't control the weather, that's for sure. If I did, I would make sure we get lots of rainfall out here, but that's not going to happen. All right, guys. Stay alert, be prepared. Like I say, G3 class storm. If you're just joining us here on the live stream, G3 class storm is predicted around the 0 to 6 UTC time. 0 to 600 UTC time, which puts it at about, well, it's 1840 right now UTC time. So here in about 6 hours or so, and then tonight, when it gets dark, we'll be able to see that, hopefully, at some of those northern tier states as noted. And things look like they're definitely ramping up here right now across the Aurora forecast, southern and northern hemisphere. There again is the sub-auroral imagery. You can see the auroras on the horizon. If you look and you got clear skies, here's the overhead potential imagery up here. And yeah, if anything changes, we'll do a little bit further update tonight and see what it looks like on the current conditions, on the solar weather conditions. But definitely getting at least one CME right now with that speed kicking up and density and the Earth's magnetic field showing that pretty discreetly on the BTBZ component. All right, guys, stay safe out there. Have a good day. Stay cool if you can. And we will chat at you guys a little bit later tonight with the update. Peace out.